Hello, my dear students, and welcome back to Ms. Zainab's virtual class. Our lesson today is called Understanding Character. Before we start, please pause this video and go prepare and bring a paper and a pencil, or you can use a whiteboard and a marker. Okay, my precious students, are you ready with all your materials? Very good. Let us start. By looking at the different moods SpongeBob is going through in these pictures, you might know what our lesson will be about. Let's see. Okay, so as every lesson, we have some outcomes or learning outcomes to achieve. These are objectives of our lesson. We're going to analyze characters. We're going to read some passages carefully and correctly, and we're also going to categorize the events of the passage in their correct places. So, before we discuss this slide, let me ask you a question. I want you to keep this question in your mind, okay? So, in every story, we have characters, and our characters perform different things. They either have thoughts, words, or the last thing is actions. Now, before we discuss these 3 points, I want you to think about why we want to know these things about our characters, okay? So keep that question in your mind. So we know that our characters in our stories do different things. They think, they have thoughts, which means that they think about what is happening. We have some words that they say. It means they are talking and saying things. And we have some actions that they perform or they do, which means that they are basically, as I just said, they do things, just like these animated pictures in the slide. Okay, now, do you know why we want to know our characters' thoughts, words, or actions? To simply understand them and to know what they feel like or what they are going through. It's very simple. We just want to know simple things. Okay, now in these 20 seconds, I want you to divide the paper that's in front of you or your board to 3 columns, okay? And write thoughts, words, action. I will repeat the timer and I'm going to give you 20 seconds. Come on, it's more than enough time. Only 3 sections, okay? Let's see if you can beat the timer. 1. Okay, time is up. So, did you divide your paper or board to 3 sections? Then let us go to the next slide. In the next slide, we have a passage. I want you to read with me, read out loud, and then we will categorize the events into their places on the paper. So while I am reading, I want you to write the events of this story or the passage in these sections, okay? These sections that you just made in your paper or board. Let us start. The story is called My Summer is Ruined. Let's start. My summer is ruined, Jen cried. She and her best friend Laura had planned on riding their bikes together every day. Now, she had to spend the summer in the country with her grandparents. Did you write anything in the columns? You should. Let's continue. She was not sure what she would do there. She worried that there would be no one to play with her. I bet Grandma and Grandpa just sit there all day, she thought, still crying. After a long train ride, she and her mother arrived at her grandparents' town. Jen looked for her grandparents. She could not believe her eyes. They were on bicycles. They were holding extra one for Jen between them. Standing with them was a girl about Jen's age. Maybe it won't be such a bad summer after all, she thought. Okay, so if you are not done categorizing the events of this story in your 3 columns, pause the video right now and answer. Okay? Copy the passages or the events in your columns. Let's go and see what the answers are. We're going to share our answers. So we have thoughts, words, actions. Let's see what are the things that happened in Jen's head or the things that she thought about them. Okay, so first we have this. I bet Grandma and Grandpa just sit there all day. This is something that Jen thought of. She did not say it out loud or to anyone. It was only in her own head. Okay, so it's a thought, something that she thought of. Let's see what else we have. Maybe it won't be such a bad summer after all, she thought. Okay, there's a T here. Okay. And this is something that she thought of in the end, okay? Now, to the words or things that Jen said out loud. She said, "My summer is ruined." And that's it. This is the only thing that she said out loud in that passage. What about the actions? Are you checking your answer with me? Come on, check your answer. The actions we have crying, because of course she cried, and then she looked for her grandparents, and they were on a bicycle or on bicycles. It's an action that was performed by Jen's grandparents, okay? And also they were holding extra one for Jen between them. The last 2 actions are not for Jen, but they are for her grandparents, or they are things that her grandparents did. Okay? Check your answer. Pause the video and check your answer. Okay, so now we are going to practice again. Because we answered one practice, I think you will get the hang of it, and now you will know what to do. So now, are you ready, kids? Do you know who this character is? Let's start. Again, divide your paper or board to 3 sections, okay? And we're going to answer. Pause the video, and you can start it after you're done dividing your paper. So, this passage is called Big City Fun. Let's read together. While I'm reading, I want you to answer in your paper or board and categorize the events into these 3 sections. Let's start. As Emily stepped off the train into the station, she looked around at all the people rushing here, there, and everywhere. Emily clutched her sister's hand and thought, "I wish I was home." Diana said, "This way, Em," as she ushered Emily through the crowds and onto the streets of New York. Emily closed her eyes, trying to block out the city noise. "I can't hear myself think," she told herself. Diana told her, "Open your eyes, silly. You don't want to miss this." Emily peeked out one eye. People were everywhere. and the buildings were huge. She was wondering on how this place was different than back home. There are no trees here, she told Diana. Okay, for this story, we have two characters, okay? We have Emily and we have Diana. I'm going to go back to the previous page with the passage, pause the video, and categorize the thoughts, actions, and words based on Emily's character and her sister Diana's character. Okay, pause the video and answer. Are you ready with your answer? Let's share, let's see. We're going to start with Emily first. The thoughts that she had, her words, her actions. Let's see. So the thoughts. She thought that she wished she was home. Another thought is, I can't hear myself think, she told herself. I want you to focus here that she told herself means she was talking to herself. It was something that she was thinking of. She did not say this out loud. She was wondering on how this place was different than back home. Wondering means it's something that you are thinking of. Okay, so it's a thought. Let's check Emily's words. She only said one thing. There are no trees here, she told Diana. Let's see it. She looked around at all the places, rushing here, there, and everywhere. Of course, looking is an action, okay? So that's why we have this statement or under actions. Emily clutched her sister's hand. She held her hand very firm, in a very firm way. Emily closed her eyes, trying to block out the city noise. Of course, if looked is an action, then of course closed is an action as well. Emily peeked out one eye. Let's check Diana's thoughts. Actually, in this passage, Diana did not have any thoughts. And her words, she only had two. Let's check the first one. Diana said, "This way, Em." Of course, she said this out loud to her sister Emily. So that's why we have it under words. Diana told her, "Open your eyes, silly. You don't want to miss this." And she also said this out loud to her sister. Therefore, it's under words. And finally, actions. She ushered Emily through the crowds, okay? And finally, actions. She ushered Emily through the crowds. Ushered means she showed her the way, okay? So, based on this slide, we can see the difference here between Emily and Diana, right? Just by reading Emily's thoughts, words, and actions, can you tell me how she was feeling when they went to New York or when she stepped out of the train station? Can you think of an answer? We can say that based on these thoughts, okay, these words, and these actions, Emily was scared, right? Because she wished she was home. She was not comfortable. She could not hear herself think. And she was comparing this place to back home. And she also told her sister, there are no trees here. So it means that it's a big change and she is yet to get adjusted. And when she was looking at all the people, they were rushing everywhere. When she clutched her sister's hand, when she held her sister's hand very firmly, it means she was scared. She also closed her eyes because she did not love the noise. She did not like it. And then, after her sister talked to her, she peeked one eye out. But Diana, on the other hand, was excited the way she was talking. She said, "This way, Em, and open your eyes, silly. You don't want to miss this." It shows that she's excited about New York, unlike her sister who was scared and did not like the noise. And of course, she was ushering her sister through the crowd. It means she was helping her sister. She was taking care of Emily. You see, just by categorizing our characters' thoughts, words, and actions, we know more about them. We know about their feelings and what they were going through. And that is it. That's our lesson. It's very simple. However, you need to focus and read carefully in order to know whether the passage you are reading or the sentences that you are reading are under actions, thoughts, or words. Thank you so much for watching the video, my precious students. Please be safe, and remember, if you have any question, you can leave them in the comment section of the YouTube video, or you can talk to me on Google Classroom. Goodbye!